Awake my heart. The homeopathic, the prophet. Elias was a man subject to like passions as we are, and he prayed earnestly. Jas 5:17. The greatest blessing which can come to an unconverted man is for him to become savingly united to Christ. But when once we are saved, the highest honor which can ever be ours is to become used of Christ in the saving and blessing of others. Now it is a fact, exemplified both in the Scriptures and in Christian experience, that the men and women whom God most uses are men and women of prayer. We may not be able to grasp all the divine philosophy of prayer, but this we do know, that in the providential government of this world and in the administration of redemption, prayer creates an opportunity for the working of divine grace and power in men, which otherwise there would not be. Not that there is any power inherent in prayer itself, any more than it is faith itself which saves the soul. But prayers is the coupling link between human need and divine omnipotence. With this in mind, think again of Elias. The brief reference to him in the epistle of James tells us three things. 1. He was a man. 2. He prayed. 3. He prayed again. So first then, Elias was a man. We tend to overlook this. Distance wraps those long ago Old Testament heroes in garments of fire, until we scarcely think of them as being human like ourselves. Especially is this so in the case of the startling rugged fiery prophet Elias. Asked a dozen people who Elias was, and probably 11 of them, if not all 12, will reply that he was a prophet. In the case of this sinewy armed dervish-looking challenger of wicked Ahab, it is easiest of all, perhaps, so to see the prophet that we lose sight of the man. But to bring home to us that Elias was as human as we ourselves are, James says. Elias was a man subject to like passions as we are. This, of course, does not mean that Elias was subject to human passions in the sense of being a morally defeated man. Nay, we know him to have been a strong, austere man of the ascetic mold. James simply means that Elias had just the same raw material of human nature as ourselves, the same human susceptibilities, dispositions, and infirmities. He was human with all those sensations, temptations, fears, hopes, reactions, which are our common human accompaniments. To quote James literally, Elias was a man homeopathic. Homeopathis, never do we see it so clearly as when the overwrought champion sinks down under the juniper bush and requests to die. That which made this very human man so mighty was a supernatural power which flamed through him. Despite all his rugged qualities and self-denying austerities, if Elias had not been a man of prayer, we should never have heard of him. Probably There were many equally gifted or far more gifted men than Elijah in the schools of the prophets. During that long ago religious apostasy, yet we do not hear of them. Elijah was a man, very jealous for the Lord of hosts, not only in spectacular public exploits like that on Mount Carmel, but behind the scenes in lonely, preserving prayer. Many ministers today are so anxious to be preachers that they fail to be prophets. It is prayer which makes prophets. The man of prayer is the man of power. It was so in Elijah's day, and it is so still.